keep it equal. Get in DQ for LGBTQ. We keep it simple, but keep it equal. Blood of what's blood of what's blood of what's blood of what's.
Ow! This is to the G, the double E to the T to the E to the R. I'm sitting with the G to the Q. What's wrong with you?
You're so loud.
Oh, I'm always loud. And we're in the house today, and we're with the Shelby County Democratic nominee for Mayor, Lee Harris. And we're in the house with the G to the Q. And turn me down, because I am really loud.
You turn me back up.
Nope, not turn me back up. You turn me all the way down. You turn me too far down.
Yeah, you cut me all the way off, too.
You cut me off.
Okay.
I'm yellow.
Okay.
I'm perfect now.
I'm perfect, by the way. So
Where is my Starbucks? Where is my Starbucks? Stand by, y'all, right there.
That's awful. Yeah, I can hear it.
I got my Starbucks. I'm back.
So you gonna act country the whole show?
No Mac presidential.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm back. I got my Starbucks. Let's get started.
All right, let's get this thing going. Hey. What's going on, Radio Land and social media land and everybody in the sound of my voice? This is the Unleashed Voice radio show, broadcasting live in the studio of KWAM 990 and FM 107.9 in Memphis, Tennessee, where we employ 3 E-Core principles: education, empowerment, and enrichment. And we got a great show lined up for you today. This is Gwen GQ Clemens. I'm in the studio with Dave N. Clemens, Skeeter, and Senator Lee Harris, the Democratic mayoral nominee for Shelby County Mayor, is in here with us today.
In the house, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. So, do you have a rant today?
Yes.
Okay. So we have this little segment where we allow Davian, you get 2 minutes today
Okay,
to
great.
rant.
All right.
Okay, go ahead, you got it.
Let's rant about Kanye West.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. What? You want to rant about Kanye West?
Do we have to?
Yeah, just for a little bit. Just for 2 minutes, and I got to let the senator take over. Okay, so on last week, Kanye West made a controversial statement. To some, to many, they agreed with him. And he said that he believed, in his opinion, that slavery was a choice for the individuals who were in slavery 400 years ago. So, some people, they put on social media, they agreed with him, and there was a big argument nationwide about this, and I feel sorry for the brother, but I just was trying to reiterate to some people that as of right now, I think the U.S. Census say we make up about 14% of the population here in the United States of America. Is that correct? Am I in the ballpark? 14%?
That sounds probably right.
All right, so if we make up 14% now, with the resources and the power we have now, economic power, what do you think the slaves made up 400 years ago?
I think you also missed the...
But wait a minute, I ain't talking about that yet. But that's just a small part. So people get slavery mixed up with roots. Roots was not like the original picture of slavery. And they think that the people were on a plantation, 1,000 slaves and 2 slave masters and overseers, and that they was out there and they could just take over. And that's not the picture of slavery. So all I'm saying is this: people did not choose to be in slavery. We had people who were taken from different countries in Africa, different language barriers. We didn't have any resources, no weapons, no anything. How can we fight individuals and succumb that slavery of 400 years ago if we wanted to choose to? That's just a small piece of my argument, not the major part. But you can get the major part if you want to.
Okay, so what has happened? What are these little, get off these little squiggly things. What has happened since Kanye West made that statement was that he's been able to garner support from a large segment of black men in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
He got a lot of sympathizers that tend to agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also getting their attention on the Trump agenda of Make America Great, and
yeah, I saw
to
that.
listen.
He won a conference with Kanye and Kaepernick.
Right. So it's what he did because of his social influence and the ability to persuade people with his voice. He has a lot of fans and a huge following, and it is almost like a cult. And anything that these people say, you have people that gravitate to it and believe it. And there's a lot of people, the younger community, it seems, that do not know history. And they, besides researching and finding out exactly what information was trickled down to them. They just took it at face value, and they want to start an argument. But like I told you, one way to kill an argument and on an opinion is from when you do your research and you do your citations on these situations. So nobody has done that, and there have been good arguments about Kanye and what's going on. But I blame us. I blame how we put people because they're wealthy, because they can sing good, because they're athletic, on pedestals that they do not deserve.
Who?
I blame society.
What?
Society gives them a pass. They allow them to have unethical behavior and all these things just because they're wealthy or because they have some talent that people might admire, and they give them a pass. They give them a voice, they give them a platform, and I blame society for that.
Well, what do you say, Senator?
Well, I'm not sure I understand. Are you saying Kanye said that slavery is good? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't
He said it was a
understand.
choice.
He had on a Make America Great hat. He was
On TMZ.
He was shouting out 45. He said he loved 45.
Well, let's go back to the interview on TMZ.
Agree with him.
He was on TMZ.
Right.
He did an interview with the people
Live
on
in the
TMZ,
studio.
live in the studio. And they got on the subject of slavery. And he said that he believed that the slavery that we suffered, our people, for 400 years was a choice.
Yeah, so I don't know what that means. Is Kanye healthy? I mean, is he
I don't
mentally?
know, he's not healthy
Okay,
mentally.
yeah.
Well, he
okay.
says he's a free thinker,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and that people want to control the narrative, and he's allowed to have his views and express his views any way that he wants to express his views.
Which he is, but with the kind of influence that he has, like you said, the individuals who put these people on pedestals and believe everything they say, it's dangerous.
No, I think that's a strange thing to say. I haven't heard anything like that. Although years ago we worked on the Confederate parks. You know, we used to have those. We talked about Confederate monuments most recently, but years and years ago we had the Confederate parks. They were named after the Confederate generals. And during that debate, it was really heated, and we had some folks come in from Sons of Confederate Veterans, and they made a presentation to the city council. This is when I was on the city council.
Okay.
And their presentation was all about why slavery was a good thing for African Americans. And
Yeah,
they
I
said it
remember
was
that.
a good thing because it provided jobs
Yeah.
to
I remember
African
that.
Americans. And so, you know, I was flabbergasted by their statement and knew that we as a city council had to do something about those Confederate parks, and we did something then. And of course, most recently, protesters and Tammy Sawyer and Earl Fisher were able to bring those monuments down, which is a good thing because there is this kind of mentality out there that doesn't realize that slavery was a horrific period of history and still stains us today in a whole bunch of different ways. And it is not something to be kind of venerated and held up in esteem, and it was not a choice. It is not something that provided jobs, and it was not helpful. It was horrific, and it was a tragedy and an injustice. And so we got to remember to remind people of that, because there are people apparently like Kanye and like those Sons of Confederate Veterans that are just, I don't know how they got so misguided, but like I say, maybe it's a mental health issue.
I totally agree. We have a caller before we get to your interview. Caller, you live on the livest show on KWAM 990 Talk Radio. What's on your mind?
My people, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Dave? How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
We're doing good.
Great.
Good. Hey, how you doing, Senator?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing well. Well, to Kanye, if somebody presents to you only two choices and you don't have the right not to choose one of those two choices, then you're not a free thinker.
Tell me more.
And you're not free.
Tell me more.
I'm sorry?
Tell me more about that.
If I'm a free thinker and I'm free, just because you present me with two choices, that doesn't, if I am truly free, that means I can walk away from what you presented me. If I'm a slave and my only choice is between being slavery and death, then that's not really, it's not really a choice.
Right.
You don't have freedom.
I totally agree.
Right. Well, his argument was that it was so many slaves that any time they could have rebelled, they could have overthrown. They could have fought back.
That's why I gave those numbers in the beginning to paint that picture.
They demanded their freedom, and then how in the world can that many people remain enslaved for 400 years? And he said it's also a mentality that we have adopted because of that, and he just don't understand. And there are plenty of rebellions throughout history of slaves rebelling and fighting, trying to get free. Even in like you just go to Cuba. Or you go to what, Dominican Republic. You go to islands like that where freedom was obtained because some of these countries in the Caribbean, they stood up and they fought back. So Kanye West, he got an album coming out, and I feel like it's a big
maybe that's stuff. What's going on. That's got to be what it is.
One thing I know for me, I would never play another Kanye West song.
Me either, or buy another record.
A couple of radio stations have already said they pulling his music out of rotation. And he said that because of his fans threatening not to buy his music, that they are trying to also hinder him from having freedom of expression in some form or fashion. But he has tilted the pendulum sort of by lining up with Donald Trump. I mean, like, really, he's wearing the hat, the MAGA hat, and taking pictures with Trump. They tweeting each other, and he's saying, how much he loved Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is a dragon like he is.
He drank the Kool-Aid.
Well, I think that unfortunately, because a lot of times, not just with African American people, but with society on a whole, we actually relate popularity with intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
you give it a part, you give it a pass, and off the top.
Yeah, because he's obviously ignorant. He's ignorant of, as you said, there were rebellions in this country, and there were rebellions in the Caribbean, and there were also in the Caribbean, there were places where they actually taught them what slavery was in America.
Yes.
So they had to be indoctrinated there before they went to the diaspora of, Brazil in some cases, and America. What's really sad about all this stuff is that clearly he has some mental issues. There's clearly some things that have been going on since his mama passed away.
Yeah.
And no one's ever helped him with that. And so when you got money, you got a lot of yes people around you. So he just feels like I can say whatever I want to say without any consequence, especially as African Americans. Now, let me say this, and I want to say a couple of things to Senator Harris. I have Jewish friends. Jewish business associates, and I wouldn't dream of saying that about the Holocaust.
Nope.
Exactly, that's the same.
That's the same thing.
It's just really strange to me how, if you know and understand, as Senator Harris said, how horrific slavery was, or even Jim Crow, when you look at Attorney Stevenson's new, and I love that brother for what he's doing, on lynching. I just don't understand. Like the old people used to say, how could you even fix your mouth to say something like that? So, he ain't getting any of my money, for sure. So, and I'm done with that. But for those who say, well, we should ignore him, well,
you can't ignore him, because if you ignore him, the people who are weak-minded will follow him, and they will begin to drink the Kool-Aid. But we got to jump into our interview with the senator. So you stay by your phone and call us back, David, when he says.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I want to congratulate you. You are actually one of two reasons why I voted in the Democratic primary, since I was not considered my
Thank you.
Now, I have voted for you in every election so far that you have run in, and I think the only way that I won't vote for you in this upcoming election is that if Vanessa Bell Calloway decides to move to Memphis and run for office.
What?
Now we know who the other person you're gonna vote for.
Who is that?
Start with
Talk about that.
who? You know who it is, your best friend.
My best friend.
20 years.
See, wait a minute. See.
Bye, David. We gotta go.
Well, who's his best friend?
Yeah, who's your best friend?
WW.
Oh, bye. Well, we got to take our first break. We're going to come back. We're going to jump in this conversation, hit this poverty, hit this education, hit diversity. We're going to talk all these things with Senator Harris. If you want to call in, talk with him, call us at 901-260-5926. Again, it's 901.